So we're ready for the letter F. If you've got your guide sheet there in front of you, you'll notice that this is the first of the capital letters that I give you two variations for. Sometimes we use the second one when this letter F appears at the beginning of a line of text because it has just a little bit more flair and flourish to it. Using your two pencil tool, the stem of the F is a gentle S curve. Instead of being straight, it curves a little bit and then has a straight foot at the bottom. And the top line is slightly thinner. So to get that thinness, I turn the angle of my pen just a little bit. You understand what I'm talking about, right? Here's our diagram. This is pen angle, nib angle 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The traditional angle is about 3.5. But to make this top line a little bit thinner, I turn about to a 4 angle and draw a straight line right across like that. And then the flag at the end of that, I get my pen back in the traditional angle and pull straight down parallel to the italics line, italics guideline. And then this curve comes straight out for a little while and then curves down to about 7:30, 8 o'clock. Likewise, the center stem here, as I want it thinned out just a little bit, so I hold my pen at a slightly different angle and do the center stem. Good enough? Let me go ahead now and do the variation B. Variation B on the letter F. Again, a very gentle S curve. But instead of doing a straight foot this time, I'm going to do a loop. So I'm going to estimate where my midpoint, my mid horizontal line is, come up here and draw a curve this way and come down and meet the bottom of that S curve. Does that make sense? So I just drew one extra curve there. The top of the letter is exactly the same. Changing the angle of my pen slightly so that that thin line is slightly thinned out. And then a vertical flag. And this curve come out straight first and then come down to about 8 o'clock. And then of course here I have to finish the rest of this cross piece. Good enough. There's two variations on the capital letter F. Let me go ahead while we've got the pencils in our hand and do the lowercase f, which is unusual in the alphabet because it's actually a little bit longer than all the other letters. You see the sample there on your cheat sheet, right? Starts a little bit above the top extender line, goes straight, 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 and all the way down and a tiny bit below the bottom extender line. I put a straight flag or a straight foot and a straight flag at the top and the bottom of these letters. And of course, the cross beam is at the top of the lowercase guideline, if that makes sense. In other words, the letter I would be there, the letter E would be there. That's where that top, don't get confused because this letter F is so tall, you don't put that cross beam in the middle of it. That would be very inappropriate. You want that cross beam to be even with the top of the lowercase letters. Let me go then to the felt tip marker. And again, look at your sample. Let's do the first capital letter F. Gentle S curve. Top hook curve. Top straight line. Flag that's parallel to your italics guideline. A straight foot at the bottom and a cross beam right here in the middle. Okay, now that's a little bit different because I extended this curve down further than you see on the sample, and it's okay, but I'm going to do it again and try to do more like the sample that I've given you. S curve, foot, and not come down quite so far this time. Stem and cross beam. There we go. That's okay. Let me do the second variation of the letter F. S curve, top curve, top line, stem, and then estimating where this cross beam is going to go. Start there and draw a curve this way and meet there. Finish the cross beam, and that's an alternative to the capital F. Same thing with the lowercase f, which has always been one of my favorite letters, the lowercase f, because of that long, lean look that it has. It's very elegant, in my opinion, in shape. Okay, now let's go to the dip pen, the primary instrument of calligraphy, a piece of paper to train my pen on to make sure it's functioning just the way I want it to. Yeah, there we go. That'll work. Now let me try to do a really nice couple of F's for us here. An S curve that is straight in the middle, and the straight part is parallel to my italics guidelines. A straight foot, a top curve coming down to about 8 o'clock. Do you see how I turn my hand to make this top bar a little bit thinner? Then put it back in traditional angle for the flag, and then back again to the about 4 o'clock, number 4 angle, to make sure that that line is thin. There's one F. Let me do another in the alternative style. Guessing here where I want to start that line. Wherever I start it, of course, that's where the cross beam is going to go. Here's one of the things you're seeing me do this, and I wanted to give you permission. You don't always have to do every single letter in the same order. You don't have to do every curve. And in my practice over the years, sometimes I'll start a letter F with the top bar, at other times with the vertical, and so on. It really doesn't matter. Whatever way works best for you. And I think most of the time you'll see in a calligraphy book, you'll say, do it this way. Here's stroke number 1, stroke number 2. That's generally a good way to do, but it turns out it doesn't really matter if you change it up a little bit and do one stroke in front of another. One more lowercase f. Hurry up. What if, however, this is the last letter in a row of type? The big difference would probably be you do the letter exactly the same way. You simply take that crossbar and extend it to taste as far as you want to do. Here's another difference. What if you have 2 F's next to each other in a word? We're going to see the same thing in the letter L. That is that the second F can be just a little bit shorter than the first one and can come down, and the stem is shorter, so that they kind of nest into each other like that. Let me do that again, just a little bit neater. So here's our first F with a normal flag at the top. Our second F can sort of nest inside that one and be a little bit shorter than the first one. And then you would use the same crossbeam to connect both of them. And if it happens to be the last 2 letters of a line of text, then again, you would extend that crossbeam. Did you get that? I hope that makes sense. We're doing a good job. Let's keep going.